In Venom: The Last Dance, we see Venom and Eddie's story finally come to an end. But some people weren't so happy with the trilogy. But why? The first film, Venom, scored a 6.6 out of 10 and a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's about a random guy who's a journalist, Eddie Brock, and he gets merged with a symbiote and kind of saves the world, while going through many, many stages of sadness while being merged with the symbiote, aka Venom. In my opinion, it was a pretty good starter film to set up for future films, and in my opinion, Tom Hardy's acting was phenomenal. However, some people weren't exactly feeling the same. Some said that the Venom story was good, even with the lack of Spider-Man, which if you don't know, Venom and Spider-Man, they're pretty similar, kind of. And to be completely honest, Venom's a pretty funny character, and he's kind of cool as well. Some of the negatives that people said is that some people would have wished that this film was an R-rated film, so they could have actually gone ahead with the whole biting people's head off thing. Me personally, I don't really care. I'm just there for a good film. And surprisingly enough, people actually complained about the lack of Spider-Man. In the film, while the symbiote is kind of consuming Eddie, Tom Hardy's character is, he's kind of going through it, and people said that this was just 40 minutes of Tom Hardy clowning around. In my opinion, I think it was the best part of the film, but I don't know. In Venom: Let There Be Carnage, I was actually really looking forward to watching this film because Woody Harrelson is such a fantastic actor, and anything he's been in I've really enjoyed. It got 5.9 on IMDb and 58% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is a little bit of an improvement from the first film, but also not. It's kind of about Eddie who interviews a serial killer, and the serial killer kind of bites him, takes his blood, and then becomes Carnage, and he escapes prison, and whoa, it's all a bit crazy, but it's really, really good if you ask me. Probably one of my favourites out of the trilogy, and the post-credit scene was pretty good linking it to Spider-Man No Way Home. It's a very heavy action film, but it's also a lot of fun to watch. Honestly, the same as the first Venom film, people wanted it to be an R-rated film just so they could do that little bit more violence. Some people said that most of the jokes didn't actually land. I think it was a pretty fun film, but I laugh at anything because, I don't know, I think I'm pretty immature for my age. My one thing about this film is the disco scene with Venom with glow bands and he was at a party. I don't know, it just wasn't exactly what I wanted. It was a little bit, some would say cringe, I would just say not needed. Finally, Venom: The Last Dance got 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb and 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's basically where Eddie and Venom work together to save the world while they're being hunted by basically everything, including a really freaky alien monster, and they have to make some tough decisions to save the world. In my opinion, it was kind of a sad film and I nearly cried, but there was a bit of an exciting scene, so I didn't. See, in my opinion, I'd say it was a bit of a disappointing ending, but it was a good ending to end a trilogy on. It's not my favourite Venom film. A lot of reviewers have said that there was a lot of storylines going on in just one film. And once again, people are saying it should have been an R-rated film. I think the banter and humour between Eddie and Venom in this film was actually really, really good. And it was a pretty fun film to watch, even if I didn't enjoy it the greatest. To be completely honest, Null wasn't even the greatest character. We didn't see much of him, and whether that's because it's leading up to another film with Null or what, we kind of just got a brief backstory and that was it. Basically, there was a lot of negativity towards the Venom trilogy, and if you ask me, I have absolutely no idea why. I think the films were really, really good, but then again, I can't really judge films anymore because I like any film that I sit down and watch. I don't think I've ever hated a film. Ever.